Finally, we're back with episode 2 of the K-pop mech series. Last episode, I made this Blackpink theme board, and I loved all the comments you guys left. It was really encouraging to see all the kind words for this sort of series because, I know for sure that this isn't for everyone, but hopefully you can still enjoy all the modding and stuff. First up, the winner for Blackpink's How You Like That physical copy is
Brozoy.
And we'll do another giveaway for this girl group later in the video. And today that group is ITZY. Gotta love them. They're relatively new, debuting in early 2019. If you know Twice, these girls are the next girl group in the JYP line, and already super successful, winning a bunch of awards, with all their title tracks being absolute bangers. But first I must preface that I am a Revolove, but love ITZY as well. With the Blackpink board, it was a pretty expensive custom, so today I wanted to go to the other end with this Ajaz K620T, which started at only $49 on Kickstarter, but is currently on pre-order for $75, so still pretty budgety. First impressions, this looks pretty sweet. Very clean, attractive design, 60% form factor. It has a tablet/phone groove, as it does have Bluetooth, and something that I always love, a volume wheel. Before we take it apart, let's just have a quick listen to it in its stock form. So, it's not the easiest board to take apart. This video isn't really a tutorial on how to mod the board, but if you wanted to, I think you can figure it out from this. Plastic tabs are always a little scary to undo, especially if you've never done it before. Usually I use guitar picks, but this is what was on my table at the time. Okay, let's start with bias. Obviously, I love all of them, but I'm not going to be a fence sitter. Girlfriend's bias is Ryujin, while mine is Leah. Easy. All day. Thinking about it, I think I do have a bit of a thing for main vocalists, but she's not like a super power singer, but for sure she has a stunning, distinctive voice, and you can tell straight away that it's her. Also, her dancing has come a long way since the beginning, which everyone is proud of. Love her. Alright, I really love the clean design of this board, so I don't want to veer too far away from that. So I'll keep it relatively simple with a paint job. As always, good preparation makes painting easier. I gave it a bit of a sand to rough it up a little bit, nothing too intense. With these sort of cases that clip together, it's good to mask off the contact areas, otherwise with the added thickness of the paint it can get pretty difficult to put back together. It was really tough to choose colours for this project because they don't have a distinct theme, and really it goes for every other group except for Blackpink. I was going to go for the pink purpley kind of colour scheme from Dalla Dalla, but I think the It's Me/wannabe colours are more recognisable. So these Tamiya spray paint cans are great for stuff like this. They're made for painting hobbyist models like motor vehicles, Gundam, that sort of stuff, so they have a finer spray with their nozzle that's easier to control and therefore comes out really even. Using normal spray cans from the hardware store is fine, and I've done a lot of that, but they are harder to control and to get an even finish. And they're not too expensive, but you'd probably need 2 cans to cover a keyboard to be safe. Alright, favourite music video. I really like their recent Not Shy MV because it's quite a bit different to the rest with that western theme and everything, but for me, like this board, Wannabe is great. I just love the colours, love the sets, love the look, and the opening sequence with Leah winding up the doll too, but definitely the theme, much like the song about being yourself, is positive and really encouraging. Now to the bottom. Logo is a given, so I'll put that on. and a bunch will cringe at this, but stuff it. I'm gonna put their faces on it because why not? And these photos are also from the wannabe era, taken by Dispatch. I didn't do too many design variations, but to keep with the blocky design of the board, I kept it quite simple. But how are we going to put this onto the board? We're going to use water slide decals. You may have come across this stuff if you're into model making, but yeah, they're a transfer paper that you can use your normal printer to print whatever on. Usually you can get them in clear or white, it just depends on what you want to do, but more importantly they're very thin, unlike stickers which can be very obviously higher than the rest of the surface. Since printers don't print white, if you use the clear paper the image will be quite translucent, so if you have a dark surface you got to use the white paper. So since I have a dark blue base, I have to use the white paper to show any color. And you also want to use whatever the highest quality mode on your printer is, so it'll take a while. And if they're not waterproof, you have to spray over them with some clear coat. These just happen to be the ones that I had at home, which are both acrylic based. I like to go light at first because you don't want to drench it, and then go a little heavier. Now to favourite choreography. They're known to be great dancers and they've always had great choreo, but Easily Not Shy is top tier. Love that opening. I mean, I'm not a dance expert or anything, so I can't really describe these things, but they did talk about how difficult it was, and it does look that way. The keycaps. They're pretty decent actually, although the coloured accent enter and escape keys are pretty bad. Their dice are just horribly. The stock ones are way better. Typeface pretty clean, but what gets me is that they're in cherry profile, which is awesome, so slightly shorter than your typical OEM caps. I'm going to paint over those terrible caps with this metallic green from Vallejo's Mecha range, and it looks pretty sweet. For the escape key, I struggled to think of something to put here because they don't really have a symbol or something like that. My girlfriend told me to try their hand crown pose that they do at the end of their music videos, but it ended up looking pretty scuffed, so I just went with their name in Korean. And for the enter key, I went with Mitzi, which is their official fandom name. And while I'm painting, favourite B-side. ITZY don't have like the biggest discography of course, they haven't been around too long, but Surf from their latest release is an absolute banger. Yeah, a bit lighter than the other stuff, just chill vibes honestly, feel good stuff. And solid line distribution as well, and it suits their voices nicely. Love it. After letting all that stuff dry for ages, let's put this stuff back together. The plate turned out nice, I only painted the top and left the bottom bare, And I'll lube the stabilizers and all the switches with Krytox 205 grade 0 because might as well. On the website they have their own switches. I don't think these are the same as this is an early unit, and the PCB on this is pretty low quality. Again, just a pre-production sample. And finally, favorite song. What I do like about ITZY is the concepts are mainly based around like you as a person being true to yourself, self-confidence, just very positive overall. So Dalla Dalla, Icy, Wannabe and Not Shy are all very much like that, but I gotta say Not Shy takes the cake for me. Admittedly it was a grower and I didn't feel it instantly, but after a few listens it's so good. The intro, Che's ITZY Call, it suits Lee's voice beautifully. Yeji coming strong in the choruses, classic Ryujin with the rapping, but Yuna shines in this one for me. Pure sunshine. And here it is, my ITZY theme mechanical keyboard. It's nice, not really what I envisioned, but that's the thing when creating stuff. Sometimes you hit the mark, sometimes you miss, and I think here I didn't nail it, but the quality and execution of the work was all fine. So again, I went with the Wannabe color schemes, so the primary color is this dark blue, which I really like with the satin finish, and then it's a mixture of green and orange. Orange is a complementary color to blues, so they're opposite on the color wheel and match in that way, so very contrasting, while green is just next to blue. But the orange just comes off as a little too gaudy for me, maybe a little too saturated, but that's also because I kept with a very simplistic blocky aesthetic of the board, so in that regard there's a lack of cohesion. And for the most part with these K-pop groups, the aesthetic is usually somewhat aggressive, and I didn't really show that, besides I guess the MIDZY enter key and this In All of Us badge at the front, which is their motto, I guess you can call it. Turning it over, and again I kept it very simple, and there's like about 9 billion layers of clear coat on there because I kept messing up, and clear coat helps hide that sort of stuff. But yeah, we have all the members, all in order by the way. That bit turned out really nicely, but the ITZY logo was pretty scuffed, and I think I could have just airbrushed it on. I can definitely do a better job of integrating the decals to make it look less sticker-like, because it kinda does here, but again I kept with the blocky aesthetic and also stay consistent with the color scheme I had going on. Let's have another quick listen, shouldn't be too different as I just lubed the switches. Yeah, sounds a little bit nicer loops. Pretty standard pre-built mech feel, I didn't hear much ping. The actual Ajaz K620T is pretty interesting. It's a 60%, so just has the main area of the board with everything else on secondary layers. It has RGB backlighting. I absolutely love the volume knob, they're just so convenient, but paired with its Bluetooth capabilities, it's even better. Its unique feature is that it has this big groove for mobile devices. It can fit my phone with a pretty slim case here just fine. I suspect thicker cases will be a no-go. And when it comes to tablets, here I have a 7th gen iPad without a case because it doesn't fit with one. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's made for this because it's the exact width as the iPad in landscape. And that's episode 2 of the K-pop mech series. I think I was pretty harsh on the board, but don't get me wrong, I think it does look pretty good. It just doesn't scream ITZY to me, so in that regard I failed, but it's all learning and all fun nonetheless, so it's all good. As with every K-pop mech series episodes, we'll give away 2 physical copies of the latest EP, Not Shy. It comes with a CD, photo book, card, poster, and all that cool stuff. This time we'll do one on Instagram and one on here. Just be subscribed and comment down below your bias and favourite song, details in the description. Best of luck to all, and I promise the next episode won't be as long of a wait, but let me know what you think and what other groups you'd be keen on.